It started with the roar of engines and the smell of rain-soaked asphalt. The small roadhouse on the edge of Route 19 wasn't much: cracked neon sign, faded flag, and an old jukebox that hadn't worked right in years. But to Jake Turner, a single dad and former Marine, it was everything he had left. After years of service, 2 tours overseas, and losing his wife to cancer, that roadhouse was his second chance, a place where he could raise his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, and find peace in the hum of the open road. But peace doesn't last long when the world likes to test the strong. That Friday night, Jake's bar was half full, a mix of truckers, bikers, and travelers. He'd just served a couple of burgers when the door slammed open. 2 men in worn leather vests walked in, carrying the unmistakable emblem of the Hells Angels. Their presence instantly changed the air, conversations hushed, and every eye turned their way. Jake noticed the bruises, the bloodied knuckles, and the tension. Trouble had walked in. Behind them, 3 men followed, shouting insults, rival bikers, clearly looking for payback. "You think you can mess with the Iron Wolves and get away with it?" One spat, slamming his helmet on the bar. The situation was about to explode. Jake didn't want violence in his place. But when one of the men grabbed a pool cue and swung at the smaller of the Hells Angels, instinct took over. Jake moved faster than anyone expected. He caught the man's arm mid-swing, twisted it, and in one motion, had him face down on the bar. The other attackers backed off, shocked. "Enough," Jake said, voice low but commanding, the same tone he used to quiet chaos on the battlefield. "You want to fight, take it outside. Not here. Not around my daughter." The bar went silent. The rival bikers muttered threats but eventually backed off, revving their bikes and speeding away into the night. The 2 Hells Angels, brothers, as Jake later learned, sat in stunned silence. One of them, a broad man with tattoos climbing his neck, looked up and said quietly, "You didn't have to do that, Marine." Jake shrugged. "Didn't do it for you. Did it because right is right." The brothers nodded, paid for their drinks, and left. Jake figured that was the end of it. The next morning, though, everything changed. When Jake pulled open the roadhouse door, expecting another quiet day, he froze. The entire parking lot, every inch of it, was packed with motorcycles. But not just any bikes. There were hundreds of them. Chrome shining in the sunlight. Banners, leather jackets, and colors from across states. And stepping off the bikes, over 200 women, all wearing patches that read Sisters of the Road. Lily peeked out from behind the counter, eyes wide. "Daddy, are we in trouble?" Jake smiled faintly. "Not this time, sweetheart." One of the women, tall and fierce-looking with silver hair and aviator shades, walked up. She handed Jake a small pin, the shape of a golden eagle, and said, "Name's Ruby. I lead the Lady Bikers Alliance. Those twins you defended last night. They're my sons." Jake blinked, not sure what to say. Ruby grinned. "Word got around fast, Marine. You stood up for them when no one else would. And when a Marine protects family, that means something. So we're here to return the favor." Within minutes, the women got to work. Some cleaned up the roadhouse, others fixed the sign, and a few started unloading boxes of supplies, new chairs, fresh paint, even a new jukebox. The old bar that had been fading for years was suddenly alive again. Jake tried to protest, but Ruby put a hand on his shoulder. "You fought for strangers, son. Let someone fight for you for once." That day turned into an all-day festival. The roadhouse became a beacon of laughter, music, and unity. Bikers from different clubs who'd once been rivals stood side by side, grilling food and swapping stories. Kids played in the dirt, music filled the air, and Jake felt something he hadn't in years: family. As the sun dipped behind the hills, Jake stood on the small wooden porch, Lily at his side, watching the rows of motorcycles glimmer in the golden light. Ruby approached and handed him a patch with the words, "Honor rides on." "Keep it," she said. "You've earned it." Jake nodded, emotion thick in his throat. "I didn't do much. Just did what was right." Ruby smiled. "That's exactly why people follow men like you." That night, when the last bike rumbled away and the stars took over the sky, Jake locked up the roadhouse, knelt by his daughter's bed, and whispered, "See, Lily. Sometimes when you protect others, the world finds a way to protect you back." She smiled sleepily. "Mom would be proud." Jake swallowed hard, looking at the photo of his late wife on the nightstand. "Yeah, sweetheart," he whispered, "I think she would." And as the quiet night settled over the open road, the old Marine finally felt at peace, knowing that honor, kindness, and courage still echoed louder than the roar of any engine. So, if you're watching this right now, remember, doing the right thing might not always be easy, but it always comes back around. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this story, because sometimes, one act of courage can change everything.